It's not personal. She just realized who the alpha is in this friendship. But don't worry, I'll take good care of our girl. My best friend said after I found out he was cheating with my girlfriend. So I cut them both off. Now he's abusive and she's texting me from a burner phone. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Alright, so I guess I should start from the beginning. My name's Mark. Up until about 6 months ago, I had what I thought was a pretty perfect life. I had my girlfriend, Qley, and my best friend since, like, 5th grade, Jake. The three of us were always together. It was me and Jake, and then when I started dating Qley's sophomore year of college, she just slid right into our group. It was us against the world, you know? Jake was the extroverted one, the life of the party. I was always cooler with just a small group, but he brought me out of my shell. And Qley, man, she was everything. Smart, funny, beautiful. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. We'd even talked about moving in together after we saved up a bit. We hung out all the time, the three of us, watching the game at my place, grabbing beers at this dive bar we liked. It just worked. Jake would tell some stupid story from high school and have us both crying laughing. I remember one night, we were all just smashed on my couch after a buddy's wedding, and I looked at them and thought, this is it. This is my family. I felt like the luckiest guy alive. But I guess looking back, there were little things. Little cracks I was too stupid or too trusting to see. It was always little digs from Jake, but you'd laugh them off because that's just what guys do, right? We'd be playing ball and I'd sink a decent shot, and he'd clap me on the back and be like, nice one, Mark. Almost as smooth as that game winner I hit against Jefferson High. Remember that, Qley? I basically carried the team. And he'd wink. Or he'd buy her a drink when I was in the bathroom. I'd come back and she'd be sipping some fancy cocktail and she'd say, Jake got it for me. Isn't that sweet? And I'd just nod and say, yeah, real sweet, and think nothing of it. He was my brother. He was just being nice. Then Qley started doing it. She'd get on me about stuff that sounded weirdly familiar. We'd be trying to pick a movie and I'd be scrolling and she'd sigh and say, God, Mark, just pick one. Why can't you be more decisive? Jake just goes for what he wants. He doesn't overthink everything. Or I'd suggest we just order a pizza and have a quiet night in and she'd get this look. Jake says always saying you have to seize the night. Live a little. She started saying, Jake says a lot. It started to get under my skin. So one day after work, I went to see Jake. I figured, hey, he's my best friend, I can talk to him about this. Maybe he doesn't realize how it sounds. I found him at the gym. I was kind of nervous bringing it up, felt like I was being a jealous loser. I said, hey man, not a big deal, but lay off the little comments to Qley, yeah? About me? It's making things weird. He stopped his set and looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Then he laughed this loud, fake laugh. Whoa, bro, paranoid much? I'm just being friendly. You're the one with the girl. Unless. He leaned in, lowering his voice. You're not sure you can keep her? He punched my arm, like it was a joke. But it didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a challenge. I just stood there, feeling stupid, while he went back to his weights like he'd just won something. I should have known right then. But I didn't. I just told myself I was being insecure. That Jake was just being Jake. And that Qley loved me. I was a fucking idiot. So the cracks kept getting wider. Qley was getting more distant, picking more fights. Everything I did was wrong. My job was boring. My friends were lame. I was too predictable. It was like she was reading from a script that Jake had written for her. Then came Dave's birthday party. It was at a loud, crowded club, the kind of place I hate, but Jake lives for. I was fighting off a migraine and told Qley I was going to head out early. She rolled her eyes. Of course you are. Just go. Jake will make sure I get home safe. The way she said it, it had a finality to it. I shouldn't have left. But I did. I went home, took some Advil, and passed out on the couch. The next morning, my phone was blowing up. A bunch of texts from buddies, all with the same video. It was from the party, after I left. Someone had posted it to their story. My stomach just dropped through the floor. I clicked play. There they were, in the middle of the dance floor. Not just dancing near each other, dancing on each other. Qley's back was against his chest, his hands were on her hips, and she was grinding against him, her head tilted back laughing at something he was saying in her ear. It was so intimate, so blatant. You didn't have to be a detective to see it. I felt physically sick. I just sat there on the couch, watching it on a loop, my heart hammering against my ribs. The whole world just narrowed down to that shitty little video on my phone. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just felt cold. A real deep, calm coldness. I got up, took a shower, got dressed. I drove to our apartment, mine and Qley's, and I felt nothing. It was like I was piloting a drone. She was on the couch, scrolling on her phone, still in her pajamas from the night before. She didn't even look up when I walked in. "Hey," she said, distracted. "We need to talk," I said. My voice was flat. Dead. That got her attention. She looked up, and her face immediately went defensive. She knew. About what? I just held up my phone with the video still paused on it. Her face flushed bright red. Then it hardened. "Mark, it was just dancing." "God, are you seriously that insecure? It was a party. We were having fun. You wouldn't understand because you left. It just happened. We didn't plan it," she said, her voice getting higher. "He's just more exciting, more confident. He makes me feel alive. With you, it's just comfortable. It's boring." There it was. The script. Word for word. I just looked at her. I looked at the girl I thought I was going to build a life with, and I saw a stranger. The coldness inside me solidified into something solid, something unbreakable. "So you traded a life for a thrill," I said, my voice still eerily calm. "Okay." I walked past her into our bedroom. I didn't slam anything. I didn't throw anything. I went to the closet and pulled out my old duffel bag. I didn't pack photos or mementos. I packed jeans, t-shirts, my workout clothes, my toothbrush, my important documents from the lockbox. I took the PlayStation. I'd paid for it. She stood in the doorway, watching me, her arms crossed. She looked confused. I think she expected yelling, begging. She expected a scene. My silence was freaking her out more than any scream could have. "That's it," she finally said, her voice shaky. "You're just leaving?" I zipped up the bag and slung it over my shoulder. I walked to the door and stopped, looking at her one last time. "Congratulations," I said. "You're free from all the boredom." And I walked out. I got in my car and drove to a cheap extended stay motel on the other side of town. I didn't look back once. The next day, I went to the gym. It was the only thing I could think to do. I was on the bench press, just pushing weight, trying to push the numbness through my body, when I felt a presence. Jake. He was standing over me, smirking. He had that look he gets when he thinks he's won something. "Hey, buddy," he said, his voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Heard you guys hit a rough patch. That's too bad." I racked the bar and sat up, wiping my face with a towel. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. He shifted on his feet. My silence was making him uncomfortable. He puffed out his chest, trying to regain control. "Look, man," he said, the fake sympathy vanishing. "Sorry, but it's not personal. She just realized who the alpha is in this friendship. Some guys are just meant to be sidekicks." He grinned, a smug, vicious little grin. "Don't worry. I'll take good care of our girl." I stood up. I looked him right in the eye, and for the first time, I didn't see my brother. I saw a pathetic, insecure little boy in a man's body. "Congratulations," I said, my voice flat. "You won a prize neither of you deserves." I picked up my water bottle. "Now get out of my way. You're blocking the rack." The smirk melted right off his face. He was expecting a fight. He was expecting me to break. He wasn't expecting nothing. He just stood there, stunned, as I walked around him and went to the squat rack. I didn't look back. I put my headphones in and drowned him out. He was already dead to me. The first few days in that motel room were weird. It was super quiet. No constant buzzing of Qley's phone. No Jake blowing up my texts with some dumb plan for the night. Just the hum of the shitty AC unit and the sound of cars on the highway. I didn't cry. I didn't break anything. I just felt this hollowed out feeling. Like someone had taken a melon baller and scooped out my entire insides. I'd lie on that scratchy bedspread and just stare at the ceiling, replaying it all. Not because I missed them, but because I was trying to figure out how I missed it. How I could be that blind. The anger tried to come. I'd feel it bubbling up, this hot, red wave wanting to smash something, to call them and scream every curse word I knew. But I'd just take a deep breath and let it pass. What was the point? Screaming at them would just be giving them what they wanted. It would mean they still had power over me. And they didn't. Not anymore. So I started doing stuff. Just small, dumb things. I deep cleaned my car. I organized my toolbox. I went for long drives with the windows down and no destination. It was like I was deprogramming myself from them. The phone was the first big step. I sat down one night with a beer and just deleted them. Blocked Qley's number. Blocked Jake's. Unfollowed them on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all of it. I didn't make a big show of it. I didn't post some vague sad song lyric. I just quietly made them disappear from my world. It felt like lifting a weight off my chest I didn't even know was there. The mutual friends were trickier. My phone blew up for a day or two. Dude, what happened with you and Qley? Jake said you guys had a fight and you moved out? Are you okay? I didn't ignore them, but I kept my answers short and simple. No drama. I just text back. Yeah, I'm good. They chose each other. I've chosen peace. And then I'd change the subject. Hey, you watching the game tonight? Some of them pushed for more gossip, but I wouldn't give it to them. I refused to be the pathetic ex-boyfriend crying in his beer. The ones who were real friends got the message and dropped it. The ones who just wanted the tea, I kind of faded out on. I threw myself into the gym. Hard. Where before I'd go 3 times a week, now I was going every day. It wasn't about getting ripped for revenge. It was about control. I could control the weight. I could control the reps. I could control the burn in my muscles. It was a pain I understood, a pain that made me stronger. Not like the other shit. I picked up extra shifts at work. I started a course online to get a certification I'd been putting off. I reconnected with a couple of guys from high school who Jake had always subtly pushed me away from because they weren't cool enough. Slowly, the hollow feeling started to fill up with something else. Not happiness, not yet, but clarity. The brain fog lifted. I stopped wondering what I did wrong. I realized it wasn't about me. It was about them. Their emptiness. Their shitty character. I stopped missing her. I started missing the person I thought she was. And that person never really existed. It was a character she played until something she thought was better came along. The anger was completely gone. In its place was just nothing for them. It was the weirdest feeling. It wasn't hate. Hate would have meant I still cared. It was just a blank space where they used to be. Like a deleted file. The data was gone, and I was never going to bother trying to recover it. I was moving on. Not for show, not to make them jealous, but for me. Because my life, for the first time in a long time, was finally, completely about me. And it was quiet. And it was peaceful. And it was mine. For a couple months, it was radio silence. I'd hear little things, but I tried to keep my head down. My buddy Dave, who's cool and never liked Jake much, would give me the occasional update, but only if I asked. Which I mostly didn't. At first, the news was exactly what you'd expect. They were the it couple, posting 1,000 pictures together, all over each other. Hashtag soulmate, hashtag upgrade, hashtag alpha. It was nauseating. Jake was living his best life, showing off his girl. Qley was eating it up, looking thrilled to be with a real man. But then, around the 3-month mark, the tone of Dave's updates started to change. Hey, you see this? He texted me one night with a screenshot. It was from Jake's story. A vague, angry quote about disloyalty and people trying to test him. Nope, I wrote back. But thanks. A week later, Dave sent another. Ran into them at the grill last night. Was weird, man. Oh yeah. I replied, not really wanting to know. Yeah. She tried to say hi, but Jake cut her off. Answered for her. Was kinda intense. She looked small. Not her usual self. I didn't respond. It wasn't my business. But the picture was starting to form. Then I got a call from Stacy, a friend who'd always been closer to Qley. She was one of the flying monkeys who'd texted me early on, telling me to get over my pride. I almost didn't answer. Mark? She said. Her voice sounded strained. Hey, how are you? I'm good, Stacy. What's up? I kept my voice neutral. Look, have you talked to Qley lately? No. It's just, I'm worried about her. She lowered her voice. Jake. He's being really controlling. He made her delete all her guy friends off social media. Even me, because I talked to too many dudes. He checks her phone constantly. They had this huge blow up at Sarah's party last weekend. It was so awkward. He was just grilling her about who she was talking to. I was quiet for a second. I felt nothing. No satisfaction. No schadenfreude. It was just a report on 2 people I didn't know anymore. That sounds rough, I said, my voice flat. Rough? Mark, it's bad. He's isolating her. She's miserable. That's unfortunate, I said. But it's not my problem, Stacy. She made her choice. But you don't understand, she pleaded. I understand perfectly. I cut her off, gently but firmly. She wanted his kind of passion. She got it. I hope she figures it out. But I'm not involved. I heard her sigh in frustration. I just thought you'd want to know. I appreciate you looking out for her, I said, which was the most neutral thing I could think of. But I've got to go. I hung up. My hand was steady. My heart rate was normal. The irony was so thick you could choke on it. The alpha confidence she left me for had curdled into paranoid, controlling insecurity. The thrilling passion had turned into explosive jealousy. He was so terrified another alpha would come and take his prize that he was building a prison around her. She'd traded my quiet respect for his loud possession. And now she was finding out that being someone's trophy meant you got put on a shelf and weren't allowed to move. Dave's texts became more frequent, more concerned. Dude, Jake showed up at the bar last night because Qley was out for drinks with her coworkers. He made a huge scene. It was embarrassing. Heard from Sarah that he yelled at her for an hour because she liked some guy's photo from, like, 2016. This is getting dark. Each piece of news was just another brick in a wall between their world and mine. Their drama, their mess, their toxic spiral, it all felt a million miles away. It was the karma everyone on these stories talks about, but it didn't feel like a victory. It just felt like a confirmation of everything I'd already figured out about them. They were exactly who I thought they were, and I wanted no part of it. The show was over, and I'd already left the theater. The text started a week later. Unknown number. Mark, it's Qley. Jake isn't who I thought he was. I miss you. I made a huge mistake. Can we please talk? I read it. Deleted it. Blocked the number. 2 days later, a voicemail from Stacy. She sounded pissed. Mark, it's Stacy. For God's sake, call Qley back. She's a mess. Jake is being a psycho. You can't just abandon her because your pride is hurt. Be the bigger man. I deleted it. Didn't block her, but I didn't save the number either. Then, last Tuesday night, my phone rang. Another unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. I picked up. Hello. It was her. Sobbing, gasping for air. She sounded terrified. Mark? Oh, thank God. Please pick up. I'm scared. I didn't say anything. Just waited. He threw a lamp. Against the wall. He's sorry, but I need to get out. Can I come over? Just for tonight? Please. I could hear the raw panic in her voice. It was real. I took a slow breath. My voice was calm. Flat. Qley. She sobbed with relief. Yes? Can I? Please. I have nowhere else to go. No, I said. The sobbing stopped. There was a beat of shocked silence. Then her voice twisted from scared to angry. What? How can you be so cruel? I thought you were a good person. He's going to hurt me. You're right, I said, my tone never changing. He is. You both are. That's why I left. You chose the fire. Don't call me when you get burned. She screamed then, a raw, furious sound. You're a coward. You're just jealous he was better than you. I held the phone away from my ear until she was done. When it was quiet except for her ragged breathing, I brought it back to my mouth. Goodbye, Qley. I ended the call. I blocked that number too. Then I put my phone on silent, rolled over, and went to sleep. I didn't dream about anything at all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.